Hi, everybody. This is Lara again, and I am here with Sam Badoo. Let's get this started. Tell me who Sam is and what you do and how you do it.
Sam is just a young man from Ghana. Grew up in Accra, played around a lot, got into trouble a lot, but ultimately shaped by his growing up in an African city that was in itself finding itself, that was growing, mixed up interactions with different people from around the world, but also a very big sense of responsibility being a firstborn son and a firstborn child, and a deeper appreciation for the world around him. Today, I lead a team here at Fleri where we're making it easier for immigrants to be able to better protect their families back in the countries that they left. Um, and I think looking back at my own journey and looking at where we are, as well as the people on the team, I find that the person that I am is micro influences of the journeys and the people who have been around me, culminating into this expression of Fleri, dedicated to making life easier and more manageable for other people.
There has to be some kind of innovation, some kind of like creative thinking, even from a traditionally trained designer artist. So how does that come to life in a business from a leadership perspective? And how does that specifically make Fleri a successful startup and right now a successful company since it's launched and functioning?
I think we've been successful at getting started at Fleri. Ultimately, we do want this to be a successful business, and even more successful at being impactful. I think throughout everything that we talked about, um, part of the innovation and the design comes from knowing your subject, right? So just like a painter who picks up a canvas focuses on, a subject. What is the theme, the topic? What is it that we're focusing on? And for me, that has been primarily looking at the fringes of society, right? And how the fringes of society connects with the greater society. An example would be the unique business model that we had at Restart, right? Normally, people would think of the recruiting industry and then think of like the hiring industry, and they'll think of like businesses, healthcare, real estate. What I could see was that at the intersection of all of this were people, and the people who were there were fluid, which means they were running between all of these three different places that we've chosen to segment, right, without any limitations. The same people who live in the apartments are the same ones who work in the banks downtown. They're the same ones who purchase ice cream from Jenny's, right? And they're the same ones who go to Ohio Health for healthcare. They're the same ones who will go borrow money or take a credit card from Discover, right? But at the same time, they're the same ones who might be out of a job and trying to work at a Huntington or another. So you see here that this same person is moving in all of these spaces, but remains the same. It came down to how do we identify, you know, the opportunity to connect this single person in all of these ecosystems, right? So it became reaching out to a Discover card, right, to offer a benefit to a card holder, right, who will live in an apartment that is downtown, but currently looking for a job so they don't default on their credit card payment. Now, if Discover card could give them the benefit of having a team helping them find a job, then we would then connect them to, say, the Huntington Bank that wanted to hire people, right? Feeding into this ecosystem where businesses are supporting each other through all of these intentional acts. And that is intentionally designed, right? It's the same for Fleri, as we look at it today. We've always had a remittance market or a remittance opportunity that has always looked like money transfers. If you ask any immigrant, what is it that you do every month? I send money to my family, my parents, my kids, right? We all do it. The Western Union, the MoneyGram. But at the same time, we think of the fact that when you send money, while you're not telling them or they're not telling you, what do they spend the money on? On funerals and healthcare and seeing the doctor and buying stuff. So what if we could just allow you to pay for the stuff they want to buy? Right? What if we could allow you to pay for the doctor's appointment? Right? We wouldn't pay for our gas bill by sending money to someone so they go take it and then go pay the gas bill, right? And so that intentional design of looking at the person that we're focused on and then how they connect to everything else is something that I would say we've done particularly well with regards to seeing the opportunities that come by designing these often forgotten linkages between people and interactions.
And this guides me towards our last question, which is, what is the most important skill that you feel like future creatives, activists, entrepreneurs need, especially for the ones who are getting in this social impact space?
Relationship building. The ability to create relationships, maintain them, manage them, and make them flourish. I am a factor of everybody who's invested into me as a person, everybody who's paid attention, giving advice. That is the one most important thing. I don't think it's any concrete skill. It is an intangible skill that opens doors, melts hearts, creates opportunities, recognition. It's your ability to build and maintain relationships. But one thing that I will say is your ability to hold an opinion, a point, to have a perspective will probably come in as one of the most important things that you could offer in any gathering, especially being a minority in any space, whether as a woman, as an immigrant, as a Black person, doesn't matter. Your perspective is the one thing that nobody else has that you have. The way you grew up, the experiences. There's so many different things about me that makes me different from you, but at the same time, there's so many reasons why I connect to you, right? But in diving deeper into your perspective, what I find is a deeper sense of connection to you, because you open my eyes to a part about you, your upbringing, your understanding of the world that nobody else could tell me but you, right? It's like every time you walk into a pitch, a conversation, you open a door and you have an opportunity to take someone through this journey. We downplay it a lot in trying to make it fit like everybody else, right? Because there was a perspective that you appreciated. And so the tendency is maybe I want to share like that. But there's a lot of power that comes from everybody finding their unique voice, their unique perspective. For me, that's the one thing I appreciate more than anything if I speak to a designer, is the fact that they see what we have as something entirely different from what we currently have it. And I want to learn and hear more about that, because it's not, the growth doesn't come from perpetuating the same thing. It's by having the courage to veer off into unknown directions, right? And the only way to do that is by someone who isn't currently following the same path, someone who's experienced a different path, who can take you on there. And so, yeah, that's the one thing that I would share for any designer or creative who's going out there.